What is going on, everybody? It's your boy NothingButSkillz, and today we are going to be talking about my best LMG build. Now, I've been tweaking this. You've probably seen a couple versions of this, and I finally got it to where I want to say there's not much more I can do to this build. Now, I can min-max it just a little bit by tweaking out a couple things, but after you guys watch this build video, you guys will know that, hey, yeah, this build is pretty solid, and for him to change something, he's really going to have to do a big overhaul. But overall, this is my LMG build. This is my go-to. I run this in PvE and PvP when I'm not running an AR. This is the LMG build that will help you guys beat the raid if you guys have a couple guys running it, and then you can run other builds if you want. But this LMG build 100% will help you guys in the raid put out that DPS that you guys need. So let's get into the build, guys. So if we look at the build, you're going to see I'm running 8-11-2. Yes, 8-11-2. The 2 utility, I mean, it's not really what I really need, but because 2 of the pieces that I roll have utility mods, I'm going to take a little bit advantage of those. So first off, we are running the Gunner Specialization, and I think for the LMGs, this is probably the best specialization to run, and we'll talk about that a little bit near the end of the video. Let me say I'm running 294k armor, 88k health, and then 280 skill power. So if we get into my black market M60, wow, 37.3k base damage, probably the hardest hitting LMG that I've been able to put together. And it's not only that, this did have a pretty high damage roll, but remember, my gear, weapon damage, LMG damage is why I have such a high base damage on this black market M60. Look, I have almost the same black market M60, 2k less damage, but this one has Allegro. But the one that I'm using for this video does not have Allegro. It has Unhinged, which is why I get 20% more damage. That's why you can see this black market is up there in the 37k range. Receive 20% weapon damage at the cost of negative 25% weapon handling. And then we have extra 20% magazine capacity. So that's why my magazine, look at that, 180 bullets. I never run out of ammo, or in the clip, I'm good. And then of course, cannon, while equipped, this weapon increases throwing distance by 10%. I mean, if I'm throwing nades across the map, maybe, but nothing too special there. So we have Unhinged, extra. I would like to have Allegro on here, and then that would drop my LMG down to 150 versus 180, what you see right here. Now, the way I have this modded, I am running a C79 scope, the 5% damage to elites, and that's so I can take advantage of the 25% nemesis headshot damage when it's holster, but when you're using a scope. Now, if you use this one right here, the hollow sight, it doesn't count as a scope, so you won't take advantage of that 25% headshot damage you get from the nemesis while holster. So if you don't have the nemesis, I would recommend running the hollow sight. You can get this from level 3, level 4, no, sorry. You used to be able to get this from level 3, level 4 control points, but you get this one from daily and weekly projects. And then this hollow sight comes from a secret mission. I do have how to get this on my channel. Then we go to the large pouch, which is going to give me plus 50 bullets. Now, this is from the Specialization Gunner. That's why this is pretty good. If you don't have the 35 round pouch, you can unlock this 50 round pouch, and it's that much better. Now we have the vertical grip. It's going to give me 10% accuracy. And then we have the muzzle brake, which is going to give me 5% damage to elites. So on this gun alone, I have 5% on the muzzle and then 5% on the scope, so 10% damage to elites. Now for my secondary, I'm running the Nemesis. You can use this to shoot if you want. It has a base damage of 419,000, but what I'm really using this for is preparation. Look, while holster, gain 25% headshot damage when scoped in with your current weapon. But the cool thing about this is when you are using your LMG, you do not have to be scoped in. You just have to have a scope on it. So that's a little trick that you guys can take advantage of. The black market, when you're running any kind of scope, you will take advantage of Nemesis 25% headshot damage when not scoped in. And then I also like this Gunner gun that you get, and it's because you get 2 technically holster talents, right? Because you get greased while holstered, weapon swap seed is increased by 10%. That's cool. But then I also get protective reload. While equipped, this weapon grants plus 10% bonus armor while reloading. So say if, for instance, I do reload my LMG, which I don't reload it, I swap to my pistol and swap back because of my holster, but I'll explain that in a little bit. But say if I were to be reloading my LMG, the whole time I'm reloading it, I'm getting that plus 10% bonus armor while reloading. This actually is really good for your AR builds, because remember, equipped is in your hand or not in your hand, and then holster means it has to be holstered. So that's the difference. So equipped is technically always active, and then holster is only when that particular weapon is holstered. So let's get into the build that makes this work really good. I do want to say, if you don't have the Nemesis and you want to run double LMGs, you can do that. You can also run the Liberty, which is also a great pistol you can run, because remember, this one, while holstered, destroying weak points, refills 20% of your current magazine. So you can play with these, but this is how I have my build. And the reason I think this one works really good is because on bosses, when they're standing still and you're hitting them directly in the head, you're taking advantage of the Nemesis holster talent on your LMG. So if we go into the mask, I am running a Murakami mask, 8% health. This is going to give me 8k health plus 42% damage to elites, and then we have hard hitting on here with 10% damage to elites, so that's total 52% damage to elites just on this mask. Now, I did get a mask recently that had 45% damage to elites, so you can get up there, guys. You just got to keep farming. Hopefully you guys get those lucky rolls. If we go into the chest piece, I'm running a 2-piece Gilligard, so I'm going to have 5% total armor, 20% hazard protection, and then on this chest piece we have 39k health. We have 13.5% weapon damage that I rolled on there, and then we have 9k armor. And then, of course, if you're running any type of raid mission, Unbreakable is just a lifesaver. It helps out your team. A lot of you guys want to start running with Unstoppable Force, but if you're going down a lot, Unbreakable probably will be a better bet for you, because your team doesn't have to stop to go revive you. They can continue to put out damage. Now, this is where I do have a utility mod slot on here. I have skill power, increased disrupt duration, increased bleed duration, and then I have defensive system mending, where I have 4k armor, 3% total armor, 2000 armor on kill, and then I have another defensive system mending with 7k armor, 393 armor regeneration, and 2% protection from elite. Now, one thing I am going to switch out right here, because I just got one and I realized I haven't updated this. I actually have, check this out real quick, this skill power chem launcher, so it's going to give me 256 skill power. So we're going to actually put this on. So now if we get into the holster, the Dodge City Gunslinger holster, I do have a video on how to get this step by step. This is amazing, and this is something you guys should put on your build. Look, I have quick draw, and that's what this build is built around. That's all you're really using this for. Swapping to your pistol reloads all weapons. So every time I swap to my pistol, so I hit triangle, triangle, and I'm at my pistol, and then I hit triangle, triangle again, and I'm back on my LMG. I'm fully reloaded. It's faster than trying to reload. It's faster than trying to use filler up, where you switch to your double barrel, you shoot 2 shots, then you switch back. This is 100% faster, and it's probably the fastest reload in the game. And that's why I recommend you guys get in. Not only that, this holster comes with 2 offensive mod slots. So that means I can get an additional 5% LMG damage from each mod slot. I mean, up to 6. But on mine, I have, look, 4% LMG damage, 1.5% weapon damage. So 5.5 right there. And then we have another one that has 3% LMG damage, 2% weapon damage. So 5% right there. And then look, another utility mod slot that say, look, skill power, but then they say 310 chem launcher skill power. That's what you guys are going to want to put on these builds. So I just tweaked my build a little bit right here, so that way you guys can see that I'm running chem launcher, skill power, and then you're going to see in a second that I'm able to unlock a nice little heal. So if we go into the knee pads, I'm running the Gilligard. Again, this is where I get the 2-piece. It has 15k armor, and then I have patience. Patience, 100% great for PvE, for the raid. If you're solo, just doing solo missions, patience is great, because after being in cover for 5 seconds, armor repair by 5% for every 1 second. You need to have 6 or more defensive, which I have 11. And then we have 2 defensive system mod slots on here. We have 2k armor, 5% total armor, 4% explosive resistance. We have another system ending with 1800 armor, almost 3k armor on kill, and a 3.5% total armor. We get into the gloves. These gloves are probably my favorite gloves to run if you're going to run some high offensive and still hit like 11, 12 defensive. They're called the climbing gloves, so those are the gloves you're looking for. They're Alp Summit gloves, and it gives you 10% cooldown reduction. That kind of help out with my chem launcher coming back a little bit quicker. But look, it has 1 offensive roll, so I get 10% LMG damage. I have the talent hard hitting, so that's 10% damage to elites. And then on the mod, we have an offensive mod slot. So it's technically 2 reds right here, and then it's another 5 to 6% LMG damage you can get. I only have 3% LMG damage on here and 1.5% weapon damage, so that's 4.5 weapon damage that I'm getting on here. And for the backpack, the Badger Tough backpack. Now, a lot of you guys might say, why aren't you running a Petrov piece on here, right? We ran through everything, no Petrov piece, and I'll explain in a second. So the Badger Tough backpack is going to give me 7% damage to elites. It's also going to give me 3 defensive rolls plus 1 offensive roll. So look, I get 7k health, 6.5% total armor, and then 11k armor, and then I rolled 8.5% weapon damage on here. If I can get a better roll, like maybe 10.5, 11, that's what I would push for. And then look, I got another 5%, well, 3% LMG damage, 2% weapon damage. Now, let's look at a Petrov piece. If you notice, most Petrov pieces on the backpack always roll with a yellow, no matter what. So it's almost a roll that you don't need. And then it will never have an offensive mod slot. It will never have a mod slot. The problem with that is I can't take advantage of an offensive mod slot that I'm getting on my Badger Tough. My Badger Tough's already giving me 5%. And then, of course, I'm losing 10% from the Petrov piece. But then I'm also losing some blues that I can get to hit me at 11, allow me to stack more reds on other pieces. Not only that, remember with Petrov, you can only put either hard-hitting armor, and then you get something like efficient on the ropes. What that means is I won't be able to take advantage of either hard-hitting, or I won't be able to take advantage of hardened 10% armor. But on the Badger Tough, if you get a roll like this, look, I have 6.5% total armor, so kind of like having harden, right? But then I also get the 7% damage to elites, so kind of had like hard hitting, I'm off 3%, but I'm also getting extra offensive mod slot here, plus I get the weapon damage roll, which you do get on a Petrov. So that's where this piece benefits me a lot more and will probably benefit a lot of you guys a little bit better, because these Petrov pieces, they roll horrible. I've been looking a long time to try to get a really good one, but nothing that I can really use. So as of right now, if you want to get high damage on LMG, you do not have to have a Petrov piece. So if we go into my stats, we're going to look at this. You're going to see that my headshot damage is 65% on my LMG, but I also get a 25% on top of that because of my Nemesis holster chance. So that's 90% headshot damage right there. We have 49% all weapon damage, 38% LMG damage, and then 79% damage to elites. So we're pushing almost 80% damage to elites, and we still have 37.3k damage on this build. So let's get into the skills. So the skills, the chem launcher, I wanted to show you this because remember on my utility mods, I was able to get those chem launcher skill mods. We're going to go to my chem launcher, and you're going to see I have a 956 chem launcher skill power, and then right here it allows me to put a 34.9% heal. So my armor repair is 68,000 versus if I took this off real quick, I'll be at 50,000. Now also the same thing you can do for the revive hive. If you can get these hive skill powers, you can throw these on there, and then if you get some other ones, you can throw. I need some more mods on here to give me something a little bit better, but yeah, if you get these, you can throw these hive skill power mods on here, the auxiliary battery packs, and then just make your hive that much better even with no skill power. But yeah, this is how I run my build, guys. This is my build, the best LMG build that I can run at the moment with running Unbreakable, and so far I like it a lot. Like it's my go-to. If you guys have any questions on this build, let me know. Let me know at all. I probably won't put out another LMG build for the raid or for PvE with running something like 811 because this is my go-to LMG. The only thing I can do to improve this is maybe get some more LMG offensive mod slots that give me a little bit more damage, get a better backpack roll that gives me maybe another 2.5%. The gloves could give me another 2% right here. The chest, I mean 13.5%. It's pretty maxed out, but I think what it's like 16, 17, 18%. The highest I've seen is like 15 something, like 15%. But I mean, still, like the rolls I've gotten are pretty good, and I mean the mask, I could get a higher damage to elites. Like there's small things I could change on this build to give it a little bit stronger, But I mean, overall, you can't really complain. Hitting at 37.3K. I mean, you don't really need extra on here. You could get Allegro, and I mean, just like this one, it's good. Remember, if you guys are around 35 and plus on your LMG build with Allegro, you're good to go. Like, that's pretty a solid build, and that will carry you through most any PvE content, and then especially the raid. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is the last LMG build for the PvE/raid running this type of setup, unless I run something different, but I'll probably save that for when we get the next update and we get some get skill power back in the game, and then skills actually become more effective, and we're not just running like a heal and like a revive hive, and we're actually running skills themselves. Well, let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys again. Use the comment section down below. As always, until the next video, nothing but skills is out.